Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Chris from the Ultimate Recycler here. We're up to episode 31 of our Monday Marathon series where we collect all the e-waste from the charity shop. I'm having a coffee because we've got such a big haul this week. I feel I need the extra caffeine. It's going to take a bit to sort through. I'm going to be fairly ruthless. I'm not going to try and save things that are very marginal, even though I'd like to save everything. Sometimes it's a matter of practicalities. So for those that are new to the channel, once a week I go to the charity shop here, or as we call them in Australia, the op shop, short for opportunity shop, and they don't deal with electrical stuff. They don't want it, but it gets donated all the time, particularly when people are cleaning out a deceased estate or moving house. And the ladies there are all volunteers. No one's interested in testing electrical stuff, and quite rightly so. They're actually quite scared of things being dangerous. So rather than it all go out to the transfer station as e-waste, I pick it up each week. They give it to me because they're pleased that I can try and save most of it. We clean it up, we test it, we fix some, sometimes we scrap things, but usually I save about 80 to 90% of it, and I can sell it through my shop just at a nominal price. I make a little bit out of it, I make a bit out of the videos, but I just like to save as much as I can, and I keep the odd thing. The other thing is I also try and buy stuff that I can flip. Just a little challenge with myself that every time I'm at the charity shop, I'll try and find something that I can buy and, triple my money, make a bit of a profit. Found a few things this week. I'll show you that shortly. I better finish my coffee. Now, we've also got a tree. It's got little LED lights in it. It runs off low voltage. It's a little bit bent up, but I think we can straighten it. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a Christmas tree. It looks like it's been snowing on it. It's almost that cold, although we don't get snow here in central Victoria where we are. But it'll probably sell okay. It'll look all right in the shop window if it works. I'll finish my coffee, we'll start going through it, and then we'll start doing some tests and see if anything blows up or if it works. Okay, before we start pulling stuff out of the tubs here and seeing what we've got, these are the few things I've purchased. This is a kind of 1950s Art Deco-y style jar. It was $3. It's got a plastic lid on it, which probably wasn't the original lid. They would have had a tin lid on them. They make great storage jars, and Christine uses these as canisters in the kitchen, but she's got enough of them, so I'm just going to put a tin lid on this one, and I should be able to get $10 for that one through the shop, just as a storage jar. But I don't know what they had in them originally, whether they were coffee or whether they were some product that you could buy with the idea that you could reuse the jar as a canister, but I'm happy to pick that up for $3. I got a vase here, quite a nice glazed greens and browns, reasonably high vase. I suppose it's about 10 inches. It's quite modern. I think it actually says made in China under there, but it's not super modern. It's probably 10 to 20 years old. But because it's such a nice shape and a nice coloured glaze, I should be able to get 10 for that. Again, I paid $3. And the other thing I bought too was a little mincer. It's quite a modern one, but it clamps on a bench or a tabletop, and it's just a hand crank mincer. We get a lot of the older ones. This is the first time I've had something fairly new and current. I think this was only $2, and I'm probably going to get 10 to 15. We might just put 10 on it because I'm still doing quite well on my purchase price. And it appears to be pretty much as new, and it's quite heavy. I think it'll be cast iron. It looks aluminium, but I think that's cast iron. Yeah, it is. Yes, definitely magnetic. Oh, the top one maybe isn't. No. Or it might be a die cast. I think it's too heavy for aluminium. The frame is certainly iron. So that'll be a good one. Straight in the shop. Easily triple our money there. Probably a bit more. I did find this bone-handled bread knife in amongst the e-waste. The charity shop aren't interested in having knives in the shop. And we have to be a little careful in our shop as well, because there's been a lot of knife crime in Australia recently, especially in the capital cities. And they've actually banned machetes and longer knives. I think their criteria is 20 centimetres long and designed to cut, which takes out some kitchen knives. This one must be close to 20 centimetres, but I think we'd be fine to sell that through the shop. Do have to be a bit careful these days though. Probably going to put $5 on that. The handle itself's a little worn, but it's a nice vintage bread knife. It's probably English made. So that's what we got to sell as far as purchasing goes. Let's unpack some of these boxes. What did we get this week? Well, we have a bit of everything. There's a lot of kitchen appliances. Here's a vanity light, 16 watt LED. Is it new? because these are normally need to be installed professionally. Yeah, I don't think this has ever been used. Well, maybe it has, but I'll check that out. We'll get that out of the box soon. It's probably going to be saleable, hopefully. Let's go through this one first. A Pie Magic Sunbeam Pie Maker. It looks pretty dirty. Yeah, that's disgusting. So that's just scrap. We'll get to the scrap items at the end of the video. Here's another similar type. This is a multi-grill DeLonghi, and it's a sandwich press. Actually, that's not too bad. The Teflon all looks very good. It's a little dirty around the edges, but a little bit of a clean up, that one might be all right. The sandwich presses or the toasty makers do seem to sell very well. They're the best of these things, I think. And I have got someone that's asked me next time I get one in to let them know. So we'll give it a clean up and a test. Here we have a kettle, a Westinghouse. It's very dirty. Oh, it's actually black inside. All right, we may not be doing much with that. Although they clean up pretty well with the citric acid. We've got to find the base for it, of course. It might be in another box. What's in this one? Looks like hair trimmers again. Get a lot of these. These are a Ronson brand. And I only usually put $5 on them. There's the fittings as well. It's a mains corded one. It's not a cordless or a rechargeable. We'll give that a check. We'll probably get $5 for that. I don't know what that's off. Something else we've got here probably. We have 80 clear spark lights. So Bud Lights. Been getting a lot of Bud Lights lately too. They've been selling okay. We just put $5 on them. The coloured ones sell better. These are just clear, but they look fine. I assume they've got a transformer in there, so we'll check those out. Hopefully we can sell those. A basket here with what? Installation software for a digital camera. I don't know if we got the camera. It looks like little memory sticks or flash drives. There's a little SDHC card, 4 GB. All right, probably, I don't know what we'll do with those. We'll sort that out soon. Here we have a power pack, which is 6 volt. Probably scrap that. Some wiring here. We have antenna cabling. Well, that's broken, but the antenna cabling I usually just put in the e-waste anyway. I don't try and sell that for copper wire because a lot of it isn't even copper. And we have all sorts of little USB chargers here. That's handy. That's a fairly modern Samsung one. A tablet charger. I don't know if I've got a tablet in here. Some Ethernet cable, which I will just chop the plugs off. Okay, a whole bag of little bits and pieces. What's that? A little Optus. Is that a, I don't know what that is. And some cables. All right, we'll go through that a little bit later, but probably most of it's just going to be scrap wire. I will keep the chargers and some of the charging USB cables. Over this side we have, what's in here? Camera. Is this a camera? No. Conductivity gel. ECG. It's a TINS machine. I've had a few of these lately. TINS aid. So we have the conductivity gel. We have the couple of the pads that go on, a battery. We'll check if that's a good one or not. So I've had success selling these things recently. Not for a great deal. This might be quite an old one. But we'll check that out. If you don't know what a TINS machine is, I can't remember what it stands for, but it's for electrical impulses for healing. Let's see if it actually says what it is in here. TEN system, treatment of chronic, acute and post-operative pain. I wonder if Christine needs it. She's actually going very good, hardly in any pain at the moment too. Only got home from hospital yesterday as I'm recording this now. Okay, so anyone that's going to buy it is going to know what a TENS machine is. We'll check that out, see if it's a good brand and worth selling. Here's the base for the kettle. And alright, so it might be worth trying and cleaning up. Westinghouse is probably a reasonable kettle, and at least it's not a complete plastic one, it's stainless steel. This looks like a ceiling light. It reminds me of the old caravan lights, actually. Oh goodness, is something broken in there? No, there's just all the bits thrown in. Well, it's lucky the shade didn't break. The globe looks okay. That's just mounting brackets and things, and that's off a different light completely. I think we'll be able to sell this light assembly though. And we'll keep some bits and pieces off these, and some of it might just go in the scrap steel. And we'll get to that shortly as well. I've got to get some boxes off the table. A little bit of hardware in the bottom of that one we'll save. And that empties the tub. Let's get it out of here. And this one here, we have a Dr. Brown's what? What are you? Handicraft company? Doesn't really tell me. It looks like some sort of heating element in there. I don't know what goes with it. Alright, we'll have to find that out shortly. A power board, quite an old one here. Has telephone lines, satellite broadband connection, terminals, TV antenna terminals. One with the light. When you get to the plug. Oh, it's a more modern plug, so it's in the last 20 years. Delta, I guess we could check it. Someone might have a use for all these little extras. Personally, I like the power boards with individual switches on them. This has just got one master switch. We'll give that a check out. We might be able to get $5 for it. Now, this thing is it looks like a blender base. I guess we've got the top somewhere. Some of the stuff's probably been mixed up and is in another box. Very simplistic. Anco, yeah, well that's just the Kmart brand. Date code 2022-23, so fairly modern. Really simple blender, just with a pulse function for low and fast speed. We'll give that a check. It looks okay, as long as the top is all right. Some more Bud Lights. That pack feels like it's never been opened, so we'll check those. Oh, we've got Bud Lights galore. So we've got a good assortment of Christmas lights and various lighting options. What is that? Garmin. Oh, that's a navigator. That's probably unlikely to sell. These things were outdated so quickly. Might be Ewaste, that one. And this appears to be all lights, so we'll have to check those. We have some coffee pods. So there is a coffee pod machine over here. We might, if that's saleable, we'll give the pods in with it. A wireless charger for I don't know what. Oh, it's a modern USB. That's the USB-C connection. So they're quite well. They're current at the moment, and I've always got people looking for those. So I don't know what that charges. Might be a multi-charger, just a universal type wireless charger. More lights. Okay, I might put all the lights in this tub here and we'll check them all later in one go. Okay, I've made some room on the bench. I've moved some stuff off that we have to test and some that we're going to scrap. Speaking of going to scrap, this toaster is very, very dirty. It's a Sunbeam. It's a better brand, but it's absolutely chockers with bread, well, with crumbs. It's quite black inside. It's never been cleaned around the edge. I don't know if I want to go to the trouble of cleaning it up. I know I've done it before with toasters. Given that we've got so much this week, I think I might just chop the cord off this one. It's a total dismantle to clean them up to get them to saleable condition. At least it's not dented or scratched. Would actually polish up pretty good. We'd get about $10 for it. All right, I'll think about that one. It's an older model though. The plug hasn't got the insulated pins. I'm leaning towards just chopping the cord off that one. And the other one probably looks the same. It's just as bad. It is a Sunbeam, again, much the same as in it's not damaged or scratched, it's just very dirty. Assuming, of course, they work and they test safe. That has got the newer style plug. But yeah, if I only had a few things this week, I'd probably clean them up and sell them. But because I've got so much to deal with, I couldn't be bothered trying to get all the elements clean. There's baked on grime in there. All right, I'll think about it. Okay, so this was our coffee pod machine. It looks quite good. Oh, that's what that plastic thing was for. Yeah, that's where that goes. Beautiful. That looks like a bird. I guess it's supposed to. So that looks pretty good. It needs a bit of a clean, but doesn't look in too bad a condition. I think these Nescafe ones were fairly cheap, and I don't really want to go to the trouble of testing it. I mean, I've got to plug it in to make sure it's safe, but I don't actually want to necessarily fill it with water and make a coffee to make sure it works okay. I'll clean it up, I'll plug it in to make sure that it actually tests okay. We'll put it super cheap at the shop, so someone will just take a punt, and we'll throw in all these coffee pods. So we'll give that a test. Hopefully we can sell it. I will check out to see what they're worth online, but I don't think they're very expensive. We still don't know what that thing is. What have we got here? That's just a random wire. Oh, that's the tree. All right, we'll get to the tree in a minute. Here we have a audio-visual AV sender. Oh, we had something similar in a recent video, and I'd never heard of them before. So you've got a receiver and a transmitter, and it basically can send an audio-visual signal elsewhere in your room or house. I don't know if it needs to be line of sight or not. And so that you can connect audio-visual devices wirelessly. So, all right, the other one I didn't worry, I scrapped because I only had the transmitter, I didn't have the receiver. And I found them online not selling for hardly anything, really. This one may be a bit more modern. There's a power supply and a AV cord. So this looks much nicer than the other one. This is a transmitter. How does that open? There. So I'll check out online. These might be more expensive ones, Digitech. And we do have the receiver and the transmitter. So that will probably be worth something. We'll test that too. And the big tree. We're going to check and make sure that works because I think we'll be able to sell that. I'll get it off the bench for the moment. So one more box here. Oh, wow. Well, here's the jug from the blender. That looks okay. Needs a little bit of a clean, but doesn't look to be damaged. Just make sure it does fit. It looks to be the one. Yep. That's a cute little blender. Hopefully it works fine. A Philips hand beater. I don't know if I've got the beaters. Looks like we do have the beaters. These things, oh, this is a Philips one. It's quite an older model. The modern ones are super cheap, and I do have trouble selling them. I think I got $5 for the last one, but it took a while. This one is probably a bit too dirty to even bother with. We'll see what it sounds when we plug it in. See what it sounds like, I mean. A little hairdryer, Con Air, wasn't it a movie? With Nicolas Cage. I don't think he used this, though I think they had real guns. That looks pretty neat. It's only, filter's a bit blocked at the back, but we can clean that easily enough. It's a little hairdryer. It's an older model, but if it goes fine, we'll try and get $5 for it. More hair appliances. Here we have a hair curler. That looks in reasonable condition. What brand is it? Very hard to read. I can't even tell. It's Chinese writing. Do we have an Australian plug? No. So we need an adapter for that. Hopefully there's one in here. A little battery charger here, 5.6 volts, 140 milliamps. Don't know what that suits. It might be plugged into what it suits. All right, we'll dig that out later. A little halogen desk lamp. We get these all the time. And I mentioned in the last video, they're pretty hard to sell. This one seems complete. It's 23 years old, date code's 02. And it's yellowed from UV rays from the sun, but it still looks complete. If it turns on, we'll try and get $5 for it, otherwise I'll scrap it. So a lot of things to test. a power cord of something, another power cord. It looks like we have an extension cord, and that is the modern plug, so we could probably try and sell that. Any old extension cords with the old style plug or any damage I just cut up for copper wire, but this one looks like it might be able to be sold, probably only $5. That's the charger I had before. What's it go to? I haven't dug that out yet. Here we have another halogen desk lamp. Looks a bit nicer than the other one, not quite as yellow. Another power board, but this is the sort of power board that I won't try and sell. Even though it has got a more modern plug. There's no switches, it's just the basic one. You can buy them brand new for under $5, so I'll just scrap that one. A Tiger. That's a card, is it? Just a blank card. They can go in our recycling. That one looks like a USB printer cable. Probably scrap that one. We have an iron. Well, that's good. I've sold a lot of irons lately. They've all sold pretty quickly. This one looks pretty good on the bottom. It's a Lumina. A fairly cheap brand, but it looks okay. So I'll give that one a test. And a clock radio, good. I like clock radios, they seem to sell quite well. That's a Sanyo. So we'll test that one. And here's what that power supply went to, one of these little dust buster vacuum cleaners. Pretty useless things, these. So, can't even see a brand on it. Is it that cheap they didn't even want to put their name on it? I can't even get it out. There we go. So that's what the charger's for. It's obviously an older model. And the filter looks pretty messy. We're just going to scrap that one. I would be very hard pressed to find a buyer for something like that at any price. And that empties this box. So, well, I've got a lot of things to test and a few things to scrap and a couple of decisions to be made. I'll sort it all out and we'll come back and start plugging things in. Time to start plugging some things in to see what works and what doesn't. It's pouring rain outside, it's quite windy, it's a very cold wintry day and it's great in my shed. The fire's going, it's nice and cozy, and fortunately the roof doesn't leak because we're mucking around with electricity and potentially dodgy appliances. I had to borrow Christine's adapter for this hair curler. I must keep one in the shed. Now let's power this on and see if it works through the appliance tester. Yes, it's come on straight away, 180 degrees, and it's got pretty warm pretty quick, so that works fine. We can adjust the temperature, so that's in as new condition. It's just that it has the Chinese plug, so I'll have to find an adapter. I will put it in the shop, tested, working, needs adapter, just for $5, because quite often people have these sitting around home and are quite happy to use them. I must probably get some in the shop to sell, or at least add on to these things to make them more saleable. So that one's good. Now, I'm not going to waste too much time testing things. We're just going to go through them all, plug them in, make sure they work, make sure they're safe, and I'll clean them up afterwards, and then we'll do a list as we normally do on our notepad to see how much value we've got here. This one appears to be in good condition. Oh, we did have to clean the filter at the back, but we can see if it works. And it looks safe on the appliance tester. Yeah, it sounds okay, and it heats up. 2 speeds, yep, that works fine. Just have to clean the filter. Probably only $5 or so again, but a quick sale is a good sale. Right, this blender. Not very old, as we remember from the date code, it's only a couple of years old. So it should be fine. The top's okay. Nothing's broken. It's even reasonably clean, needs a bit of a wipe over. All right, let's power this one up. There's nowhere to put the earth pin, as was the thing with the other two, so we don't have to worry about that. Oh, that sounds all right. and the pulse. And that looks good on the appliance tester, so that's fine. Another one to sell. That's what we like to see. Now, we have the extension cord. Now, my appliance tester can check extension cords. I have to add another lead to it though. Okay, with another lead plugged into the other end of my appliance tester, it allows us to check to make sure all the wiring's good and make sure the polarity is right, because sometimes these, even factory-made extension cords, can have the wires put on the wrong way. So if I can show you the appliance tester, it says a pass for class 1, class 2, but it also says a pass for the earth, and it's a pass for, whoops, get my finger out of the road so our focus doesn't go out. The lead polarity indicator shows a pass, so it's wired the right way. Very good. Well, that cord, as long as it's not damaged anywhere along the length of the cord, we can sell that as a good extension cord. Probably try and get $5 for it. If I can't get that, I will put it in the scrap bin, but it should be able to sell. Next thing to check is this Philips hand blender, or hand beater. Now the cord looks okay. It doesn't appear to have any damage, but it is quite an old model. Let's power it up and see what it sounds like. Oh, very slow to take off. Actually sounds okay. I like that it winds up slowly and winds down slowly. Oh, that's to eject the beaters. So that works fine, and it looks okay on the appliance tester. I think I'll give that a wipe over. It will still look like an old one, but it's probably much better built than the newer ones. Oh, hang on. We have some damage to the cord. It's been chewed by a mouse. And I probably should have run my fingers down that before I plugged it in. It's actually showing the neutral wire. Not right through to the copper, but that's certainly been chewed by a mouse. Probably had some cake batter on it, and it was quite tasty. But no, we're going to scrap that now. I'm not going to put a new cord on it. The beaters I'll hang on to in case I get another blended or beater down the track that needs them. And we'll scrap this. We'll pull the electric motor out of it. It's got a bit of weight to it, and the cord. Next we have the two halogen little desk lamps. Older models again, probably 1990s or so. Hopefully they work, because if they don't, I'm not going to try and fix them. That one's fine. Globe's okay. These are telescopic as well. And they're low voltage, the globe, and the voltage travels up through these telescopic antenna posts. So they are live voltage, but because it's so low you can't actually feel it. I probably wouldn't stick my tongue on there. But there we go, that one works fine, even though it's a bit yellowed. We'll try and get $5 for it. So that one's alright. The next one looks a little bit better, probably similar age, but hasn't been subjected to sunlight. Let's just plug that one in and see if it works. And that one does too. Alright, excellent. No blown globes. We'll try for $5 each on those. Now the Sanyo clock radio. I have a lot of success selling clock radios. I don't ask much for them. Some of the more vintage ones I ask $10 to $15, sometimes even $20. This one, the cover's very scuffed, the Perspex cover, but I think that would polish up very easily. I can see the light flashing, but it's a bit hard to read. Looks like it's got grime on the display under the cover. So we're not going to be able to clean that up unless we take it apart. Let's see if the radio works. Oh, the antenna wire's been cut off. We're not getting anything on the radio. I can hear it hissing. Looks like it was $2.99 at Savers. It's lost the battery cover. But with the antenna wire cut off, we would have to extend that to be able to pick up FM. But also, I'm not sure if you will see this in the camera. Let's turn that off. It's scuffed on the outer screen, but on the LED display screen underneath I can see a lot of cloudiness. So it looks very hard to read. I don't think this is worthwhile, and I was just saying that these things nearly always work. Well, the radio does work, but we need to fix the antenna. it needs a lot of effort to clean it up to make it worthwhile to sell. And look, given that I've got so much to do, I'm just going to chop the cord off that one. Bit of a shame. I like getting these things going. I don't know. I'll think about it. All right, and other things I was going to think about. These toasters, they were so dirty. Do I go to the trouble of cleaning them up or not? Let's see if they test safe, because if they don't, then the problem has been decided for me. Power up. We better get our earth lead on this one. Make sure it's safe. Yep, it passes the earth test. Looks like it powers on okay. And are all the elements heating up? Yeah, all the elements work, so that one tests fine, would work perfectly okay. It's just way too dirty to sell. So I'll clean that one up if I find the inspiration. Exactly the same with this one. Let's see if this one passes. Try our earth. Oh yeah, passes the earth test. Does it work? It is heating up. All the elements are working. But the switches are frozen. I couldn't move the thermostat. Oh, that's seized. I don't know what's wrong with that. I can barely move it. And the switches don't want to work. All right, that one is definitely going in the scrap. Too much work involved with that one. Next thing, I guess, is to try this big Christmas tree. I better adjust the camera and I'll power it up. And nothing. So we've got something wrong with the cord. Oh, hang on. Did we have a light flash then? I thought I saw a light flash. Ah, the cord is broken. Actually, I'll better turn it off. It's probably shorting out. I'll give you a closer look at this. We get a focus there. It's been twisted and it looks like both wires are shorting together. So, but I thought I saw a flash. I'm not sure. I'll have to look back at the footage. I would say it's going to work if we fix up this. I might just twitch them together now to make sure it's going to work. I could easily just resolder them, put a bit of heat shrink over it. It's probably not worth the effort, but hey, that's what I do. All right, I'll cut that and I'll twitch it together and see if it's going to work. Okay, I've cut both wires and bared them back and twitched them together. And as you can probably see in the background, the lights are working. Hang on, I'll turn the ring light off. And as you can see, the bud lights work. It's not particularly bright, but it looks impressive. So I'm just going to join these wires better and we can at least sell the tree. We might get $10 for it. It's probably worth doing the repair for that. Before we get on to the other things to test, I've just cleaned up this toaster and I just thought I'd show you the extent that I go to. It's certainly not worth it, but I've brushed out inside there. The elements are pretty good. It's cleaned up all there. I've brushed out all the base. There was a lot of burnt crumbs and things in here. And the main casing's cleaned up pretty well. Just used a bit of metal polish. Doesn't take much actually to clean that up. So as long as your toaster's in good condition and not badly scratched, it will actually clean up as new. And if I'm going to sell it, I want to make sure it's good and clean and not full of breadcrumbs. So not worth the effort, but it's very satisfying. So now I'll just put this back together. I decided to do this one, but I'm not doing the other one because it's got more issues. And all right, I'll put this together, get it off the bench, and we'll get back to plugging things in. Back to testing things now, and I've just put this Westinghouse kettle on with a bit of water in it. It's particularly dirty. I put about a tablespoon of citric acid in there. It's fairly full. We'll give it a good boil, and I might have to do it a couple of times to clean it up. But it looks like it's a pretty good quality kettle, and I don't like throwing things out just because they're dirty, as with that toaster, and I'll show you what that looks like when we do our final summary on the deck. But this one appears to be safe, and we'll clean it up. So that's fine. I'll be back with you shortly when it's boiling. So that's just boiled. It clicked off nicely. No sign of any leaks. So I think it's worth cleaning up. And inside should be pretty good now. Yeah, that looks fantastic. It's of course very hot, but that was black in there before. I'll give you a look once I emptied it. I'll go and tip this water on some weeds out in the garden. There we go, much better than using chemicals on the weeds, and have a look at how good that is. It's still steaming, but yeah, Citric acid does a great job cleaning up inside of kettles, just about a tablespoon or so. And you probably should boil it again just before you make a cuppa. When it cools down, I'll clean that up. Good, another one done. I couldn't help myself with this little clock radio. I took the screws out of the bottom to lift it up. I've put a new antenna wire there. You can see I've just soldered it to the broken bit and put a bit of heat shrink over there, so that will be fine. And whilst we've got the lid off, it will be very easy to clean up. See how dirty that display was, and that's underneath this. So we'll give that a quick polish so it's clear. I'll clean that display off, and then that clock radio is good to go. The radio was working, and I'm sure the clock was going to be fine. So I wasn't going to do it, but I did it anyway. On with the testing now. We have this coffee pod machine. It's a Nescafe Dolce Gusto, and it looks like a bird. I guess that's intentional, or maybe I'm just seeing things. So let's power it up. I'm not going to fill it with water or try to make a coffee. Just make sure it's safe on the appliance tester. It tests okay. We don't have anywhere we can put the earth probe. So let's see if it actually starts. Oh, I don't know what it does. It probably heats the water. Oh, there we go. And there's a little pump in there. And it's probably a yellow light because there's no water in it. That seems to work. I guess it will do what it's supposed to do. But I will sell it pretty cheap and let someone know that if it doesn't work, I'm happy for them to bring it back for a money-back guarantee type of thing. And, well, if we're going to do that, maybe we could try $20. I'm not sure what they're worth. I don't think they're super expensive. We do have a lot of these coffee pods with it. I don't even know how expensive these are to buy. So we might try 20 because it really looks the part. And we'll see how we go. We can always discount if it doesn't sell. Now another kitchen appliance. This is the DeLonghi multi-grill, which is basically a... How do we open it? There we go. Basically a toasty machine. It does need a little bit of a clean up around the edge. But importantly, the Teflon parts look okay. Is that removable? I don't know how. It seems loose. Maybe look, they are removable. It's got a separate element. Well, that's pretty cool. So they would be quite easy to wash then. You could probably even put them in the dishwasher. Maybe not. Aluminium goes a bit funny in the dishwasher. But certainly you could scrub them up in the sink quite easily. And it's going to make it easier to clean. How does this one come out? There's a button there. There we go. Well, that is cool. So if you were scrapping one of these, all you've got is one little latch here and you've got clean cast aluminium, but there's not much weight in them. They're very thin. So the elements are separate. That all looks pretty good. It really does just need a clean. I'll put these back in while I test it. That's cool. Yeah, nice. Which way does it go? That way. All right, well, we'll power it up and make sure it passes the safety tests. Power on. Let's check that we have an earth. Don't know how well these plates will earth. I think we'll have to earth to this part. Yes, that's safe. And we have a power switch on this side. The light's on. And might take a while to heat through these plates maybe. Oh yeah, that's getting hot. Yeah, I think this takes quite a lot longer to heat up than a normal one. That's hot, the old wet the finger trick. Bit of a sizzle. Very good. All right, we'll give that one a clean up. And we'll probably get about $20 for that if it cleans up well, which it should. Not sure how good these ones are, expense-wise. DeLonghi, I might just check out online to see what they sell for, but this is in good condition. Now to check this power board, and we can plug that into the appliance tester, and using an extra cord, we test it exactly the same way as we test a normal extension cord, but obviously we have more outlets than just the one, so we need to make sure it passes with regards to polarity. and earth. Let's turn that on. We have a light on here, and it's telling us it's a class 2 fail, and it's saying fail for earth. So I think it might have a problem. Yeah, we're not getting an earth through. Okay, so there's an issue with this board, which means that I'm going to just scrap it. It's not worth trying to fix because it was only going to be a $5 board anyway. But we're not getting an earth through from that earth pin through to these earth pins. So there's got to be a fault within that. That's fine. I'll put it with the items to be scrapped. Lucky I didn't clean it up first. Now what have we got to go? We've got, I think this was the little hair clippers. So I'll give this a quick check. Ronson brand. It's got a lot of hair around there to clean up, but we'll plug it in and make sure it works okay. Has a nice hum to it. I think it's working. Let's try the old shave a bit of hair trick. Yep, works fine. Looks to be in pretty reasonable condition, just a little dirty. It's not a removable cord. It passed the test on the appliance tester. So quick cleanup and we can sell that one. I'll probably just put $5 on it, and we have all the fittings. They're just a little dirty. We'll give them a clean up and clean the hair up around the cutters. And that's pretty much all that needs. Next to check out is this LED light. I've just pulled it out of the box, and I don't think it's the same light. In fact, it's a different design. This is an LED light, but I'm thinking that maybe this one was crook, and perhaps the LEDs don't work, and someone just got a replacement, and that's the replacement. And when they took the old one off the wall and put the new one up, they put the old one back in the box. It happens all the time, because it's certainly not the same, both with the picture and the box says, I think it says 16 watt. And I just found on the back here, this one's 14 watt. So it's actually a pretty cool looking light, but I'm wondering why it's in the wrong box. So there's a chance it's no good. I've got to test it, because if it is good, it should sell quite well. I can hook up some 240 volts to the little connector block here, and we'll plug it in and just see what happens. And if it doesn't go, we will just scrap it, because we've got a bit of aluminium here. That's an electronic ballast, so I don't think there's much weight in that. Can't go as transformers like the old ballasts can. A little bit of wiring. The connector block I would keep, but yeah, not much value, but I can't sell it if it doesn't work. So I'll go and find a cord for it and wire it up, and we'll test it. So with a temporary cord wired in, let's see if it works. Oh, it tried, but LEDs are supposed to come on straight away. Yeah, it's flickering a bit. So it's obviously been replaced because it's faulty. That's fine. I can't sell it. I'll just scrap it for the aluminium. Next to check out is this Lumina iron. Very bright on the bottom. It just needs a bit of a clean. A few dirty marks on it, but no damage that I can see. I'll plug it in and see how we go. It powers up fine. And we have an earth, so all good there. It's getting hot. Yeah, it's getting hot. Okay. That seems to be all right. It's probably only a $5 iron because it's a cheaper brand. But that's cool. Nice long cord on it. The cord's a little bit fluffy, but it's quite safe. So yep, we'll give this one a clean up for $5. And that finishes all the appliances. We just have this big pile of electronic and electrical bits that was in the basket, plus also the Digitech audio-visual sender, transmitter, receiver thingo. I've checked that out. I haven't actually hooked it up to see if it works, but it looks like it's perfectly fine. All the cords are there, 2 chargers, there's an infrared sensor, the box is with it. I'm going to ask $10 for it. I did check them out online. You can still buy this sort of setup for about $50, I saw. I'm just going to ask $10. I'm pretty sure it's all in operational condition. And this TENS machine, I put a battery in it. It actually works. It flashes the red light, and you can vary the red light's frequency via this one, which I guess regulates how many shocks you have per minute or something or other. I didn't hook it up to see if I could electrocute myself. The conductivity gel there, the thing's nearly full, So I'm just going to ask $10 for this. I think it's an older model. I could not find this particular brand, Tenzade. Couldn't find any of them online. So I think it's an older model, and I think it was made in, where was it made? It wasn't Hong Kong, it was Taiwan, I think. Oh no, it is Hong Kong. So that makes me think it's perhaps back to the 80s. I don't think it's 70s, but it's certainly been around for a while. But it appears to be in good working order. It's probably never actually been used much. Sometimes people buy these on a bit of a whim and get used once and put them away. So this one, I'm going to ask $10. I'm sure someone will snap it up for $10. Now that leaves us with the contents of the basket. There's a pile of old cords there. They're either damaged or they're ones that I've got plenty of, so they're just going into my scrap copper wire bin. I'll chop the plugs off shortly. Here's some better cords that I will keep. There's some Apple ones. There's some more modern USB-C ones that I can sell. There's a little headset of ear pods, or whatever you call them here, Samsung ones, never been used. Some figure 8 240 volt cords. And a charger. What charger was this? This was a 5 volt one. I tend to keep some of the 5 volt ones. I use a lot of those. And these are all USB chargers, various sorts. I think most of these are Samsung ones. So they will sell fine through the shop. This was a Optus modem, little modem thing. It's quite old. It's very dirty. I don't think that's any good at all. I might just pop the back off to see what it's like inside, but we're not going to get much out of it. It's so light. So pretty much e-waste. This was a universal wireless charger that it does work. I've used one of the power packs I had here, plus one of the cords, and I set my phone. You can sit your phone horizontally or vertically. Mine doesn't actually fit in it vertically because I've got a fairly big protective cover on it, but it seems to charge well. I'm not sure what that's worth. At least $5, maybe more. I think they were about $30 to buy these new. They're kind of a retro armchair design, but there's a chance we might even keep that here. The camera, it's a Traveller Z14 digital camera. It appears to be in good condition, but there's no battery charger for it. I've got the cords, I've got an installation disc, I've got instructions, but no battery charger. It did power up for about 2 seconds and then died again. I checked them out online. I found a few not selling at all at a pretty cheap price, so I'm just going to put 10 on that in the shop as it is. But it can't be used until you have some way of charging the battery. It's a special sized battery. The Garmin, what are they called? A GPS navigating thing. This one apparently dates back to the 1990s. It's not a car mount one. It's like a personal one that you take out when you're hiking. I read a few reviews that they weren't updated after about 2000, so you've got old maps on them. I don't think you can update them. This one hasn't got batteries in it. I don't have a charger or anything like that. No cords or instructions, and being so old, I don't think it's worth much at all. I'm going to drop that in the e-waste along with that Optus modem. What else did we have? We had a little bit of hardware. The basket I'll use, some plastic bags, and what every second-hand dealer loves to find in amongst stuff is stickers, pricing stickers. We're always using those, and even though, well, they are fairly expensive when you go through a lot of them to buy, we always like finding them for free. So there we go, not much wastage out of that basket. Oh, there was this little pack of flash drives or USB memory stick things. They're all very sticky. I think something's been spilt on them. They're not very large sizes. I'm not even tempted to see what's on them. I'm just going to put them straight in the e-waste. They're filthy dirty. I am going to keep the little SD card that came out of there too, and that survived being soiled by whatever made those ones all sticky. Sometimes I find an old camera that needs those, so I'll hang on to that one. But that concludes all the little bits and pieces. The only things we have to go now are some Bud Lights and the stuff that I'm going to scrap. So I've saved you the torture of watching each individual set of Bud Lights being plugged in because they're not very exciting. Those ones work fine. There's a transformer in that one. That one doesn't have a transformer. They're just white ones, but they're star-shaped, so they're Christmas tree lights. They're just white ones as well. Those ones are coloured, but they're not very long. Same with those ones. And these ones here not only are coloured and quite long, but they play very irritating Christmas music, and you can alter the sequence. I might put $5 on those. The rest of them are probably going to be $2 per lot or $3 per lot or something, because they're not very interesting. The coloured flashing ones that you can alter the sequences certainly do better. So there we go, that finishes going through everything except for what I'm going to scrap. I won't put you through that torture either, I'll just show you when I finish scrapping what value I've got out of it. And just like that, it's done. We have some aluminium, extruded aluminium from that light, which turned out to be a fluorescent light. I honestly thought it was an LED, but then it did have a ballast. That's what it is in an electronic ballast. Mostly capacitors, some really tiny transformers there, so really no copper value or minimal copper value for any scrappers. The electric motor was out of the hand beater. We have some data cable, which was all the smaller USB cables and things like that. We have some better grade insulated copper wire there. The brass strips out of the two power boards. Some transformers out of the little power packs, bit of plastic. That's all the plugs and bits and pieces that will go to e-waste. A little bit of hardware that I keep. And that's what's left that we're throwing out to e-waste. This one we saw at the start of the video. I think it's actually a baby's bottle warmer, but it's absolutely filthy dirty. I'm not sure what they've done with it, but they weren't worth much anyway. That was the Dr. Brown's, so just chopped the cord off that. And everything else has been pillaged for any value I can get, so that can go to e-waste. And I will distribute this to my various tubs and buckets around the place to sell, and some handy hardware, of course. Not sure what I'm going to do. I don't think I want the little diffuser cover from the fluoro light. It's not going to fit anything, so that will probably go in the bin. There we go. Now it's time to go to the deck and look at everything we've got. It's been a big week this week. And here we are up on the deck, and look at all the stuff this week. This is the biggest week I think I've had in 6 months of doing this. Lots of stuff. I spent a lot of time cleaning things up and some repairs. Got a few things to flip there. Some cables and chargers, and quite a lot of stuff to sell. Some little bits and pieces. I'll probably use that light fitting. The beaters I'll keep until I need them. Angled bit of metal there, and the light fitting will possibly be handy. All the Christmas lights and things are down in that tub there. Bit of cardboard for recycling. Small amount of just rubbish. And that's all going to e-waste. But out of the whole lot, that's all we're sending to e-waste. And even then, the pie maker thing, I'll probably pull the elements out before it goes. Some wire, lots more things to sell. Little bits and pieces in there, including brass and a bit of hardware, electric motor, transformers, some extruded aluminium, the Christmas tree, and all these appliances. What a haul this week. I'll have lots to sell in the shop. It should add up to a fair bit, even though there's nothing much that's really expensive. It's all sort of $5 to $10 items mostly, but we'll see what the notepad looks like. Well, I know it's the biggest week for the e-waste Monday Marathon series because it's the first time that I've had to go to the next page. So there's our list of items, pretty well as explained. I think I did up the price, maybe on the DeLonghi multi-grill sandwich press thing. I think I said 20. You can buy them new for about 40 to 50, so I went 15 on that. I did put the price up on something. Oh, the wireless charger I went up to 10. But everything's pretty well as discussed. I've allowed $10 for the sundry chargers, cords and scrap. It's probably more than that, but that's just a token amount to put on the notepad. So almost $200 from our e-waste pickup, plus the items we bought to flip. We should be able to sell these pretty easily. The jar for 10, the vase for 10, the mincer for 10, bread knife for 5. $230 potential return from this week's trip to the charity shop. That's pretty good, isn't it? Let's have a look at how we did last week. Part 30, I sold the torch even though I had decided to keep it, but someone local messaged me, so I did sell it for 5. That was the little LED bike torch, the rechargeable one. All 3 of the Bud Lights, they were coloured ones, have sold. That's all we've sold so far, but we only had 2 days in the shop because Friday we were closed last week because that's when Christine went in for her surgery, so we didn't get a lot of customer exposure for that lot. Part 29, you can see we've sold a few of the things, about half actually, out of this lot, so that's going all right. Part 28 was only a small week, but everything has gone. And part 27, there's not much left. The CD clock radio, that's the cool looking retro vertical one. I've put that into the shop now, so that can stay there as long as it takes. The little wax warmer I have dropped to 5. Everything else is gone from there, and even the cutlery, we've sold all the bone handle knives, the whole 7 of them have gone, and the cheese knife. The other things are still sitting there for the moment. And all the previous episodes to this have been ruled off. So that finishes another episode, guys, and wasn't this one a marathon? I haven't finished editing. Well, obviously I'm still recording. We've probably just about got the hour, which I think is my longest video ever on my channel. But it is called a marathon, so if you've made it this far, congratulations. Maybe you might have had to do it in 2 or 3 parts. I know I do that with longer videos, but I do like to finish watching them all. I hope you guys have as well. So I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.